Live now. All right, y'all. Y'all tuned in now. All right. This y'all tuned into the Madd Ronald Radio Network. This is the live stream right here. Appearing on Facebook at Madd Ronald Roland and also appearing on YouTube at Madd Ronald Radio Vision. I see Levette just checked in. Hey, little sister, how you doing today? You know what I'm saying? How's everybody doing today? You know what I mean? Don't forget the podcast, Madd Ronald Radio Network. The website is www.maddronaldradio.net. I'm just chilling, taking it slow. Y'all know, you know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm doing just in recovery mode. You know what I'm saying? Doing my best to be my best. Taking things as they are, you know, because, hey, believe me, it can be a lot worse. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching the news. And they was talking about the young guy, Robert Fuller. They was talking about Robert Fuller that was killed in, Robert Fuller was found hung from a tree in Palmdale, California. And what they said on the news was that they determined that to be a suicide. Hey, Levette, how you doing, little sister? I love you too. They said that they determined Robert Fuller's death to be a suicide. The young guy, the 24-year-old man that was found hung from a tree in Palmdale, they said that they traced his debit card to a purchase that was made out there for the rope itself. I don't know if that's a cover up or what. It still sounds suspicious whenever we talk about a black man being hung. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that I don't believe shit like that just happens. You know, I don't think that, considering the history of the world for what it is pertaining to black people and for all the shit that black people have been through, you can't tell me that black people hang themselves. That's just not some shit that I'm buy into. But, you know, that is the narrative. Remember what I told y'all about the narrative. Don't forget what I said about whoever controls the narrative controls the story. You see what I'm saying? And that's something not to forget right there, because of the fact that when we look at these stories as they're being told, then what we're going to see is we're going to see these stories, they're going to be told from the perspective of the person that wants you to believe it. And whoever it is that you believe, that's what captures the hearts and the minds of the people. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's just a trip. You know what I mean? I, myself, personally, I just look at it to be, you know, something else. You know, I guess we would call it social justice or social injustice. However we look at it, from whatever side of the aisle we're going to look at it from. Because some of us are going to look at it and we're going to see the glass half full. Some of us gonna see the glass half empty. You know what I mean? I just choose not to even see the glass at all, you know, because of the fact of knowing the situation of the world and the way things are. I was just watching TMZ, and they had a dude that said that the dude started the day, he thought he's gonna be lynched. Young Stunner 109 IB fam said, congrats on the recovery. Thank you, homie. Hey man, I'm truly thankful, man, because of the fact that hey man, the doctors, man, I gotta give props to the doctors, man. You know what I mean? You know, this COVID-19 thing is fairly new, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's like that they don't even have an understanding of how to deal with it. But by the same token, man, you know that, like I keep saying, that intersection between modern science and medicine, you know, that saved my life. They gave me that remdesivir, man, that drug that they're talking about that they use for Ebola, and that itself worked, you know, and I'm thankful. Big Rufus. Say hello, my brother. All right, Rufus over on Instagram. What's happening, homie? What it be like, big homie? You know what I mean? I'm just chilling, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, man, I'm taking it slow as I can. You know what I mean? Devontae Wilkerson over on Facebook says, what's rolling, big bro? You look like you back healthy, and I like that. Well, I'm all right, man. I'm recovering, man. You know, I got side effects I'm still dealing with from the COVID-19, man. You know, bad as I had it, I still have a few side effects. You know, it affected my lungs really bad, you know, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, man, I can't let it hold me down, man. I've been through some shit in this lifetime, man. And considering the effects and considering the amount of shit that I've been through, man, you know what I mean? I'm just thankful, man. You know, shit, this is rough, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, all I can tell everybody is protect yourself, man. Be cautious, be conscious, man, because that shit is so real, man. Hey, that COVID-19 is so motherfucking real, man. I'm telling y'all that for real. Killer Kev, my partner out of New York City, OG Killer Kev. What's up, Killer Kev? I see you over there on Instagram, man. I see you there, man. Shit. But I'm telling y'all, man, be careful, man. That COVID-19 is dead serious, homie. And I mean that. Hey, all that bullshit they talking about on the news, they have politicized a motherfucking health hazard, which makes no fucking sense. The motherfucker that's in control of the United States of America is such a dickhead that he has politicized a motherfucking health hazard that has the potential to kill many people. And that's so fucking stupid because you got half the fucking country running around talking about they don't need to wear masks. Edward Cameron say prayers work too, bro. Edward, what's up, Chumley? That's my childhood homeboy right there. Ricardo Andrews says as you all appreciate the original. Thank you, homie. Thank you. I appreciate everyone. Hey, let me tell y'all something, man. A reality, man, is that when I was in the hospital, man, and I appreciate, I keep saying this, I appreciate the prayers, I appreciate the support, I appreciate the well wishes, because of the fact that the one thing about it all is that when your mind state is up and motivated, man, and you can see, man, that how people are wishing for you to get better, man, your mind state is one of the things that's going to attribute to your wellness. And that is the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's a reality right there. Killer Kev said, bless your daughter and your granddaughter. Yeah, man. Hey, I got my kids are grown, Killer Kev. I got adults, man. I'm talking about literally, I got adults, man. I got kids. My kids my son is 30 years old, man. I'm an old ass man. I just carry it well, man. And I bullshit well, so people don't think I'm old as I am. Hey, but it's a blessing though, man. I'm telling you, man, I get to spend time with the grandchild, man. I'm going tonight. My activity, I'm engaging in. This is my activity tonight, y'all. Tonight, I'm going to my daughter's house tonight in Long Beach and hang out with my daughter and the grandkids. And I'm finna take their ass about 25 tacos out there, and we finna sit up and play Scrabble. Hey. And I find that to be real. I find that to be a fun activity, but that was the type of stuff that when my ass was laying in that bed that I really, really wish I could have done or had the opportunity to do. So now that I'm back on my feet, and I'm healthy and I'm feeling good, I mean, I got to appreciate family. You know what I mean? We got to be appreciative of the people. We have people that are attached to us, man. Sometimes we take them for granted, but we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? The people that are attached to us, we got to love them, man, because of the fact that you just never know, man. People can love you directly, indirectly. People can love you at the same time. They can give you tough love. So it's interesting. See, the way that I lived and the way I grew up in a family of all men, practically, under one roof. So the way we live, we all practice tough love. You understand what I mean? We loved each other, but we were raised by a man. And the man that we were raised by, he loved us, but he demonstrated a great deal of tough love, which was something that was very important. You see what I'm saying? And I myself personally, you know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in family. And I mean, that's like me, myself. That's why I'm the way I am right now. I got two grandkids, man. My grandson is, because my daughter that was in that picture that I posted earlier, my daughter, that's her niece. That's my other daughter. I got a daughter that passed away. My oldest daughter, Ronisha, would have been 32. And Ronisha passed away. She was killed in 2010. She was killed by her boyfriend. And she would have been 32 right now. My granddaughter that was in that picture, that's her daughter. But my daughter that was in the picture, she has a son also that's like 7 years old. So you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's crazy because of the fact that myself personally, I'm still youthful when I get the opportunity to be with the grandkids. And it's a blessing because you got to love family, man. You know what I mean? Edward Cameron said New York. Yeah, Edward, you remember Pops, huh? You remember my daddy New York, huh? I know. Matter of fact, how can I say you don't remember my daddy? Because y'all say you don't remember my daddy. Much as you've been to my house, much as I used to be in your house, much as close as we all were growing up, man. You know what I mean? I mean, this is a crazy world, man. But like I say to y'all, man, hey, appreciate those that are attached to you, though. Love your family, man, because of the fact that sometimes you might think that your family ain't there with you, but they there. You know what I mean? I live in the space I live in with my family is interesting because we live a certain way. The way we live is like this here. We don't call each other every day. So we're like this with one another, right? We ourselves are like when it comes to us loving each other, If I don't hear from my brothers and my sisters, there's quite a few of us, that means everybody's all right. Because ain't nobody calling to borrow no money. Ain't nobody calling to sleep on nobody's couch. Ain't nobody calling because they need something. You see what I'm saying? The thing about it all is that the way we live, we're all independent. Unfortunately, my father had those genes and he passed it down to us, man. You know what I'm saying? And I swear to you, man, I'm thankful for that there, because the independence that exists among us, man, is something else. When we see each other, we happy to see each other. When we see each other, we all looking up. We get together. We wonder, is everybody coming, because everybody stays so busy. But at the same time, man, you know what I mean? Like I say, man, love your family, man. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that, and you have to let them know that. Let them know the most meanest, fucked up person that you're attached to. Sometimes you got to let them know that. You got to let a motherfucker know, I know you just you and you being who you are. I can't change that, but I love you for being who the fuck you are, because you're you. You know what I mean? I think, as a matter of fact, I think it was Killer Kev that I heard say, I think he was quoting Mano, and he said, I would prefer for people to love me, to hate me for who I am, than to love me for who I'm not. And that applies to any and everybody. That applies to family. You see what I'm saying? And that's the truth, man. You know what I mean? I see, you know what I mean? Hey, I see you, Killer Kev. I'm glad I'm healthy too, man. Hey, man, let me tell you something. COVID-19 is on the rise right now. I'm watching the news. I'm watching everything, and I'm just tripping off of how the cases are getting out here, man, and it's spiking and it's rising. Donald Trump is such a dickhead. He's such an asshole. He's disputing the #1 health expert in the country, Dr. Fauci. How the fuck you gonna dispute this motherfucker? And he's the only one that can tell us how to stay alive. This motherfucker here talking about sending the kids back to school. Man, come on now. You gonna kill the kids too? That's some crazy ass shit. Yeah, Arizona's in a state of emergency, man. It's crazy, man. The world is crazy right now, man. We're living in history. And that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? We are living in history. You know what I'm saying? And that is crazy, man. James Spencer say, love how you shift and touch bases on numerous topics and themes. Hey, but what's up, Bumps? That's the homeboy Bumps. Shout out to Bumps, man. You know, hey, man, I try to be informative as I can be, man. You know what I'm saying? I always try to be that way, man. I try to be somebody, man, that got some information, man, to share. You know, that's all I want to do, man. I want to, because somebody got to teach and somebody got to educate, man. You know what I mean? We live in a space, man, where it's important. And if we're not educated, you know what I'm saying? Oh, there you go, right there, Killer Kev. What's up, man? What's the deal, man?
It's the first time I get to see you out there bad, man. Man, you look brand new.
Hey, man.
They took your youth way back.
Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. Hey, let me tell you something, man. Hey, it ain't what. Hey, it's the medicine. Hey, man, it's the drugs that they give you in them hospitals, man. Man, let me tell you, man, and I'm gonna be honest, truthfully, real with you, man. I was in the hospital. I was thankful to the doctors and the nurses, man. When they would come in there, you know, you see people when they're going through shit, and they ain't even going through half of what I'm going through, and they disrespectful and all kind of shit. I'm talking to the nurses. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate you. I'm letting them know y'all saved my life in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm telling these motherfuckers, I'm on a motherfucking machine and can't breathe. My oxygen level. Hey, man, let me tell you something. My oxygen level was down like I was at a 40%, running a 100.5 temperature. Hey, man, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. They came to me and they said, "Do you want to try this here?" You know, I was part of a trial group with remdesivir. So you know what they do is they have trial groups. So they'll try one group, they'll give the medication to. The other group, they won't give the medication to. This is how they know the recovery rate on the medication. Because if you recover, now I had severe COVID-19. So what they did was they gave it to me because it was so severe, right? So the thing about it was that I was thankful that I was even considered, because I was in such bad shape at that moment. And I mean, man, let me tell you, you just don't know, man, until you're in that position, man. You know what I'm saying? And I explain that to people always. I tell everybody, they have politicized wearing a mask. They got people out here in the world now. We saying, well, here we go. One part of the world, my God is not going to let me catch it. Another side of the world, my politics don't say I got a right not to wear it, right? You got other people, my principles or like this and like that. Man, I'm listening to the radio yesterday, Kanye West talking about if you take the COVID-19 vaccine that you won't get into heaven. I said, man, what are you trying to do? You trying to line people up and rush them into heaven? You understand what I mean? But the thing about it is that there's a reality of this. My reality is that being that I have experienced it, I was a doubter. I'm not a doubter anymore, man. Let me tell you, man. You don't, man. When you wake up in the morning, you ain't got the oxygen and the energy to even sit up on the edge of the bed, man. You can't even roll over on your side, man. That's a whole nother element.
You wasn't even able to talk at the momentum you talking now.
Right. You remember when we was talking? I was at a whisper.
You was out of breath in 5 minutes.
I was out. Yeah, right. You remember? I said, man, I can. Yeah. Hey, man, that's why like I say, I'm thankful, homie. I'm thankful. And I got to be thankful. Like I say, I'm thankful to everybody for the prayers. I'm thankful for the well wishes. I'm thankful for the support. Because the thing about it is that, homie, one of the big parts of this, too, is that it's the state of mind that you're in. So we live in this time where we have this technology, right? And if nothing else, I don't want to watch no TV. I don't want to hear the news. I don't want to, because there's so much turmoil with the social justice and all this other stuff. I can look at social media, but the people on social media are saying, we're praying for you. We're wishing you to get better. Everybody's giving me that. I'm not realizing I got people all over the world that's wishing me well. I'm like, damn, I'm tripping. It's a trip to me. It's really a trip to me. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, damn, I got people all over the world that are wishing me well. I'm looking at this from a perspective of like, damn, you know what I mean? People contacting me, telling me, man, I'm in Europe. You know, I wish you could wear this. Then at the same time, you know what I mean? It's like, man, my timeline so full of people that's wishing me well. Same time, I'm getting all these instant messages. I mean, that's what that is healthy for. The reality of that to me is healthy. It was healthy for my mind state, because that was one of the things that kept me from falling into a state of depression.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's easy, man, when you can't move and you can't do nothing and you looking up and you constantly watching the news and you're constantly hearing about how this shit is killing people. Then you got doctors and nurses, and they come and talk to me every day, and they're telling me every day I'm getting worse. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? When me and you talk, I had been in the hospital for about 3 days.
Right.
They telling me
I see the difference. I see the difference from the day I talked to you, because you were still talking to people throughout that couple of days.
Right.
After that, and I saw the change.
Right.
How you got worse. You were.
I was getting worse. I was
like, man.
And they was.
I couldn't watch no more.
And when they came with the medication, they asked me, do you want to try remdesivir? Man, let me tell you something, man. That shit there, I've studied it. I've been on YouTube reading about it. I have been everywhere in the news looking for it. That shit work. They say it blocks COVID-19. It's actually it is for Ebola. I guess Ebola was an upper respiratory illness also related to SARS. So what it did was it blocked the COVID-19, man. And I'm so thankful for it, because of the fact that, man, I was in such a bad position. And the key objective is that they have no vaccine, man, but they do have medicine. But this is the thing about when they used it on me. When they used the remdesivir on me, the thing about they told me it doesn't work for everybody.
Wow.
I was that fortunate that it worked for me. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
I was that fortunate, man. I was like, wow, man. Hey, I was in a whole one. And they, you know, when they was coming in, they were giving it to me in the IV. So when they're putting it in my IV every day. So as they're putting it in my IV, I'm kind of tripping off of it, right? But the thing about it was that I found myself where they came in one day when I think my first couple of days in the hospital, right? And the lady was telling me about my breathing. And the lady was telling me about, they came and gave me albuterol. You know, they give you an inhaler. They give you albuterol. And like for asthma, right? And the lady gave me that shit, and then I thought I was going to die when I inhaled that shit, because I got the chemicals was fucking my throat up and my lungs, right? And the lady said, well, just walk around, and you got to walk around, and, you know, you'll get stronger and get your lungs working. Man, I couldn't walk across the floor, man. I couldn't walk from the bed to the wall. I was that messed up. And I'm talking about, I told him, I said, I can't. They had to literally come in and put an oxygen mask on me because I was that messed up. You know what I mean? Just from trying to get up and walk around. I'm talking about, man, hey, man, I tell everyone, take it seriously. Protect your families, you know, the elders. And see, with me, the thing about me is now I'm a 52-year-old black man. So you know that my reality is that it might be a little more drastic for me. The only thing about me is my diet. I don't eat white salt. I don't eat granulated sugar. I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork. You see what I'm saying? So I don't eat. And the thing about me is now that means that now, okay, there's no underlying issues like diabetes, high blood pressure.
You don't got none of that?
No, I don't eat none of that, man. I stopped eating beef in 2000.
I'm saying you don't have no diabetes, no high blood pressure, no none of that?
Nothing. I'm not on no medications or nothing. And so that's partially one of the things that saved me and got me out of the hospital. You see what I'm saying? Because of the fact that I myself, they told me this. They come to checking my blood pressure regularly, and they doing my blood work, and they saying, well, damn, the condition you in, they're tripping off of it, right? Because I'm a 52-year-old black man. So you expecting me to have high blood pressure? Because the number one, I told them,
I got it.
Right, but you know what I told them? I don't eat fried food. You know what I mean? Very seldomly will I eat fried food. I cook chicken in the oven and put water in the pan just for the moisture. This is how I eat. I practice like this because my father had high blood pressure. My father died of high blood pressure. My grandmother had diabetes. I got a sister that died from colon cancer. So you see what I'm saying? I use the GPS of my family in order to know what I should not be doing. To where in reality right now at the age I'm at, they tell me the age I'm at, they said I'm in the condition of a motherfucker who would be in his 30s because of the fact that I don't have a lot of wear and tear. You know, I don't smoke. The last time I drank alcohol was January, probably.
I don't smoke nothing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You understand? You understand exactly what I mean. I don't smoke. The last time I drink alcohol, and see, and I'm like this. I'm like this. I'm one of these people like this here, man. When I was young, I used to smoke weed and I used to drink the nasty ass Old English. But I'm older now. The thing about my reality and my realization now is the value of my mind. And we have to value our minds. I see too many people that have gone crazy and lost their minds and simply sitting up, hey, with a 40-ounce bottle standing in the same spot they drunk that first drink in. You see what I'm saying? And in my mind, the way that I think, I look at our people. And when I say our people, I look at black people in general. I look at the voices among us. And then at the same time, I look at the influences because we lead by example. So if I'm on a corner and I'm telling you a constructive and productive message, right? But I go to the liquor store and I buy a 40-ounce of Old English and stand here and get drunk and turn into another motherfucker, how much value will my message have, right?
Nothing.
But by the same token, if I'm saying this here and people can see me living by my own words and practicing what I preach, you see what I'm saying? That's a whole nother element right there. Because of the fact that what people are doing now is people are looking and they also would like to be a part of a lifestyle of that nature. See, a lot of people that I've dealt with in the world, I like a lot of young homies. I've done a lot of shit I've stopped. When I was in the street slanging dope, I was out there, man, believe me, I slung dope for decades. I was out there slanging crack. My lifestyle for years was nothing more than running and gunning, slanging and banging. That's all, you know, the LA lifestyle, man. We out here in the hood. We out here with pistols and crack, and we out here shooting each other and all this old crazy ass shit in the world, right? But this was the thing. When I gave up on all that shit and said, I'm getting my life right, I'm getting my head right, I'm getting my shit straight, a lot of people looked at me, and in the beginning there were doubters, but then at the same time, I also had a lot of people that started following that path. I seen a lot of people start coming to me saying, hey, homie, I got a job now. You know what I mean? I'm looking at motherfuckers, I'm thinking they still on the corner. I ain't fucking with them, right? Because I said, well, I can't be around all this because I also don't want to be in that element dealing with the police. Because I don't want them to be familiar with me being in these spaces because they're going to start wanting to search me and pull me over, right? I start talking to young homies now and I see them. They said, man, well, you know, I got a job now. I'm working like this and like that. I listened to you. I took your advice. You know, and this is the thing about that. The greatest feeling in the world that you can ever have is when you talk to one of these young gunners in these streets. One of these dudes out here that's living by the flag. This dude out here, and you know that they was born into this shit. They don't know nothing but this shit, right? And they looking up to the homies, and they listening to the messages that they're receiving, right? And all their life, we ain't been doing shit but preaching a bloody gospel of murder and genocide. But then all of a sudden, when they see a big homie, and he get his shit right, and they see a big homie and he changes the message and he's giving them something to live on, then when a young homie come back and he say, man, you know, I'm working now, homie. I done got my shit right, homie. I'm looking for a place now. I'm taking care of my kids. You know, then that right there is the greatest payment from all of this. That is the greatest gratification.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something, and I always believe this. You know, because dealing with youth, watching youth growing up, you know, me growing up into a man, becoming, you know, a general, becoming a leader, and having an influence on a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I always say that, you know, when people are influenced by their leaders, they do what their leaders do, not what their leaders tell them to do.
Right.
So I always had this perspective, right, about, you know, the influence that you have. There's things that you can say without, there's things that you can do and change things without even telling them.
Right.
Just by your parents, just by your talk.
Right.
That these people and these kids will learn, because, you know, now we know nowadays they even listen to their father.
Right.
They're not listening to their mother.
Right.
They listen to dudes like us.
Yeah.
That's talked about.
Right.
That had a relationship with the streets. Because, you know, and I said that, so, you know, the love from the streets is different from the love the streets that gives you.
Right.
The love you get from the streets is different.
Right.
From the streets loving you. Streets don't love nobody.
Streets don't love nobody. Let me tell you.
Love nobody.
I tell people all the time, these streets, something I learned too, because I'm like this out here. I don't hang out. I stopped hanging out. I've been in the streets. I'm one of these dudes, man. I've been from the set since 76. I was a little boy and I grew up in this shit. At 52 years old, I'll be 53 in about 2 weeks. And I tell people, it's for me to be hanging on a street corner with the kids still is ass backwards, because they weren't even born when I came out the house. At the same time, the thing about it is that you don't have to be in the streets to seek validation. The streets talk. See, the streets don't respect an old motherfucker to get washed up and just out there, there's nobody. See, the youngsters, they don't respect old men that's out here doing what they doing, because a lot of them don't have fathers. You see what I'm saying? And the bigger picture to that is this here. A lot of them, they look to big homies as father figures. So for the things that you do, they do. When they see you taking care of your family, being a man, they understand, because of the fact that, like they say, a woman can't raise a man, right? And they say you'll never be a man if you never see a man. But they looking for men, for father figures, which be the big homies. So when the big homie steps into the picture, and he looked like he at least got some of it figured out, he has the information, and he's able and he's capable of being able to give some guidance. And rather than to be out here trying to buffalo the little homie and talk about who I was 20 years ago and all the bullshit I done and see, and this is something that's very important. I tell people this all the time. What you did in the past don't mean shit today. There are legions of young motherfuckers that have come along that have done a lot more. But the thing about it is that how many leaders are there that's going to guide and direct our people on the right path? See, because that's the difference right there. You know what I'm talking about. When they talk to when they talk to a big homie, and the big homie can give them the proper information, right? And this is something I learned. I try to do this in crowds, and I talk to young homies. See, here you go. You can't talk to Little Killer when Little Killer's out there on the corner, and he's out there with his crew, because he got to be Little Killer at that point in time. He got an image, right? But this is the information I always shared. All I'm talking about is life. And when y'all get ready to get into life and live, I'm here, right? Now watch this. Little Killer might see me on the sideline while he's walking down the street, and I might pull over and say, "You need a ride, homie?" And I let him in the car. He get in the car with me now. Now all of a sudden He done turned back into whatever his mama might call him, little Johnny, you know what I mean, or Curtis, or whatever his government name is now. Now he going, hey, man, you know, man, I got a girl pregnant, man, and, man, I don't want to go to jail. I'm not even happy doing what I'm doing, man. You know, now he wants that information, that advice, because I've learned you got to keep the door open. You got to always be there because of the fact that so many of our young people are lost by simply not having anyone to give them direction.
Let me drop this jewel, right? I had this jewel when I was young. I had this jewel in my head over 30-something years ago. I always say this. And I will never forget this jewel. That I read a book, and it dealt with meditations. And, you know, I was in a box.
Right.
And I had to quote this word for word. They said that the nature of ordinary men is to be wild when young, violent when mature, and greedy when old. Even one person undergoes a number of changes. So it is no wonder that leaders repeatedly change laws, and the country repeatedly changed these leaders. If people use their own positions of responsibilities to enforce their own likes and dislikes,
right,
then those that are in lower positions,
right,
which I call subordinate positions,
right,
will always fear being unable to manage successfully.
Right. Exactly.
I had that in my head for over 35 years.
That is, and see what I get out of that right there is the fact that as we change and we go on our own paths, people gonna observe the path you're taking. You understand what I mean? And for everybody, let's just say like this here. And I'm gonna show you something. That's like me these days. I always tell people, I'm still a blood, man. I'm still a part of the situation. I talk to young homies. I talk to young homies and say, man, I'm still active, but I'm not active in a destructive manner anymore. I'm active in a productive and constructive manner now. I'm active in a means and a way to where now I can make a contribution to my community and be somebody that has some equity right here within the community. See, I'm not worried about going to jail because the community gonna see me and they gonna say, hey, that guy right there is all right. When the police pull up, when in my community, the white people gonna come outside. Hey, what are y'all doing? You see what I'm saying? But that's because of the means and the way I'm living. And I choose to be constructive in my own path. But I'm like this. I also feel that there's a responsibility because I lost a lot of good people to this. I lost a lot of good homeboys, right? I lost a lot of homeboys to the prisons. A lot of homies were murdered. I've been to probably 200-300 funerals in this lifetime. A lot of them left children in the streets. A lot of those kids they left in the streets right now are out there in the streets claiming our neighborhood and gangbanging, right? And they don't have those fathers, to which was my homeboys. I look at them from a manner of, I got to be somewhat of a father figure to all of them. For the information, I got to figure, if I was gone and my son was here, what would I want my homeboy to tell my son? You see what I'm saying? If I gave my life for the set and I'm on death row and I'm never coming back, but my son is here and I know my son is running wild, what information would I want my homeboys to give my son? Because I damn sure wouldn't want somebody out there trying to put a gun or a dope sack in his hand. I damn sure don't want to have somebody out here that's telling him how to kill himself. And you understand what I mean? And I really don't want him out here under the gun trying to kill other blacks and other blacks trying to kill him.
And you know one thing you said that raised a very, very big, question. And that's what I be trying to say. You said I'm still a blood. I'm just moving a very not a destructive way, but a good way.
Right.
A lot of people always, I know you got people saying, why don't you just leave it alone? You say to yourself, right? I'm gonna walk away from these children. It's like walking away from your son.
Right.
It's like disassociating yourself from your kids.
Right.
And this is what I be trying to explain to them.
Right.
Like, I can't never leave this alone because that's like walking away from history.
Right. Right. Well, it is history. See, I'm gonna show you something, Kev, and this is interesting about it, right?
Yeah.
It is history, but also it is culture. See,
exactly.
We have to look at this in a sense of that village, right? That it takes to raise a child, right?
That's a fact.
Now you progressed and elevated and escalated through so much of this, right? That now you're capable of being in your own space and you have choices, right? And within your choices, you can live in your own life and still be who you are, right? But at the same time, you got to demonstrate that just to the others that are looking for a way out because they're so stuck. They think that every day they got to do what they've been doing, and they don't realize it. It might take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trips to prison for somebody to look up and say, damn, well, Killer Kev ain't doing this. Damn, but he's still solid. They might look up and say, damn, the homie ain't out here, out here killing, and he ain't out here selling no dope, and he ain't out here hurting nobody, and everybody love him. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
And just by living.
As much as love, you know what? As much as love I got, mother effers think I'm rich, and I'm not.
Right. That's what I mean. See,
I could be.
Right.
I had so much opportunities up to, but I can't do that.
Right.
That'll mess my whole reputation.
See, let me show you something. I understand that because doggone it, man. I was talking to Les Brown, the motivational speaker, right?
Oh, I like him.
And I used to go to his workshops when he's at workshops out here, man. And I was talking to him, man. And Les Brown he said that he was speaking of how your brand and your character is identified by your lifestyle and what you do. See, and I'm gonna show you what that's like. That's like being an AA counselor or a Narcotics Anonymous counselor. And after class, the first thing I do is hit the liquor store, go to the dope house. How can my message be so powerful if I'm willing to compromise my principles? You see what I'm saying? How can my message have any weight or any leverage if I'm willing to compromise my principles? The principles that I myself am sharing with others, right? I can only share with you that what I know, that what I live, and that what has been proof to me, right? And once I get to that stage of life and I've shown this, then now I can demonstrate this and I can talk about it to others and give lessons on it. It's the same way like I was talking about drinking and smoking, right? And now like me, I stopped drinking and smoking. Well, I didn't smoke. I never smoked cigarettes, but I smoked weed. And I stopped. I drink moderately. So like me, I might be at a party and have a drink or something, socially. I might have a drink, and I'm not even a heavy drinker. I'm a sipper, right? But the thing about that is this here. I'm so strong a believer in the power of the mind that I myself, I have an understanding that I have the ability to influence so many. See, it's like social media, and people don't have a realization. But this is what I love about social media, man. I love that everybody's podcasting. I love that at YouTube. I love to see all these young black people on YouTube because you know why? The messages are so powerful. Some people's messages are so powerful that we don't even need the news to spread information about social justice or anything like that. You understand what I mean? We're in a space now where we can control our own narratives. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, it's crazy because the thing about that is, and here we go back to the mind and back to influence. We have the ability to influence the world just from sitting behind cameras like this. See, because watch this. You see how me and you having a conversation right now? Watch. Think about this, Kev. How many people are influenced by the conversation we're having right now?
We being taped and recorded.
Exactly.
You're going to see this on somebody's podcast.
Right. Exactly. And that is the power of the mind, though. And that's why when I speak of things like that, I always speak of the way that we ourselves and the way we live, the way we think, because of the fact that we ourselves, man, as who we are. The history that we come from, the things that we've lived through, the spaces that we're in now, the stories we're able to tell, right, puts us in positions that nobody else could ever manage to be in because of the fact that this is the key. So many people came, so many people left, but very few will be remembered. Then we think about how many people actually survived. You know what I mean? We ourselves, we have the ability right now to influence through the stories, because now, even though we got all the commercial gangsters and we got the internet gangsters, and we got all the people that's watching the rap videos, we got all the people that's looking at YouTube and learning how to do this, right? The cold thing about all of this here is that, and this is the funny thing, they looking at the real gangsters and they hear what they saying now. And the real dudes is telling you it's real in the field, boy. If you ain't ready to die, don't get out there and pick up no gun and try to go kill nothing. If you ain't ready to go to prison and give them a big portion of your life, then don't be out there trying to sell no drugs and calling yourself a criminal or whatever. And I tell everybody always, it's dues to be paid. See, and this is one of my great philosophies. Now, something about me, homie, I was a philosophy major, right? I was at City College and I studied philosophy. And
I love philosophy. See what I just quoted?
No, but you understand? Hey, no,
I got a lot of quotes in my head.
I listen to you talk and I know that. Because you know why I say that? Because the ideology and the elevation of thinking. See, one of the things that got me above and beyond a lot of this here was I had to elevate my way of thinking, right? I was the dude in the philosophy class, right? I'll go to class, I'm getting good grades, I'm doing that, I'm doing business law and some other stuff, right? And I'm gonna show you something that's cold about that, right? When the bell ring and I leave the college, I go right to the hood. I'm out here with the pistol and the dope sack. It's time to get my slang and bang on. If you come through on the foolishness, I'm gonna serve it to you. It's for me to do what I got to do because I'm on duty now. You understand what I mean? But you go back 30 minutes before this, I was in the classroom, right? But the interesting thing that I've learned about this, right, is the fact that we ourselves, man, and the way that we live, man, we live through an experience, man, that can only be articulated through history itself and the way that we articulate it. Because even though we hear and what's happened in the past has happened, that shit is written down and etched in stone. We ourselves are living in a space right now, right? You know how somebody bring up something and you forgot it. And you saying, I forgot about that, right? But at the same time, man, in your mind, you are so far past it that the way that you're thinking, you'll be like, damn, wait a minute, man, you remember that? And you so far past it because you know why? There are levels in life. And your levels in life that you've reached, the milestones in life, you ain't thinking about milestone number 1 when you're at milestone number 30. You see what I mean? Because you ain't reaching back so far. And this milestone just elevating above the streets because it's hard. Like me, I'm like this. I spend a lot of time at home now. I'm on the computer. I done built my podcasting setup. And at the same time, I come to the great understanding I got a lot more influence sitting at home, utilizing the computer, podcasting, using the live stream and all this other stuff, because I have the ability to influence so many. I have the ability to share so much. And at the same time, that media is undebriefed. See, they don't go through nobody, right? And that's the beautiful thing. You know what I mean? It's just the same as how I'm going to show you something. We have to be so much in control of the narrative that I remember being in New York and everybody says, well, New York bloods and LA bloods don't get along. I said, how the fuck is that? When that's 3,000 miles of distance. How the fucking 3,000 miles? I said, do you know how hard it is to hold on to a motherfucking beef just across town? hey, you can drive across town to beef with a motherfucker and have so many distractions on the way, you might not even make it.
You might kill yourself. You might bust a brain vessel on your way to the place.
On the way there. But
that's a week worth of road work.
Yeah. Hey, but you know how many distractions? Hey, a motherfucker might call this. I'm finna drive to New York and put in some work from LA. I might not even make it because I got to get past Las Vegas.
I know I have the headache.
Hey, that's what I mean.
See, I have the headache going to California trying to say, get these motherfuckers.
But this is the beauty of it, though. The technology is so beautiful, so powerful. It brings us together to the point to where, now relationships are built, relationships are developed. At the same time, misunderstandings are clarified to the point to where now we in spaces where now we have the ability to build something so strong, and motherfuckers don't even have a realization that we can have the ability to reach out from 3,000 miles and everything in between, because everything's influenced by either what's going on here or what's going on there. You see what I mean? We have the ability, man. I look at all the things going on in the world. I look at the social justice. I look at all this, right? I said, man, we at a point in life right now where we should be elevating so tough that we should be building to the next level of this. We should be the same way there was a Panther Party and all this other shit, the same way that we got Black Lives Matter and all this other shit. The origin of blood should at this point, we should damn near be driving that narrative back to the origin of brotherhood. We should be driving that narrative back to community when we're in the community, doing for the people, looking out for the people. Because of the fact that we got to be the ones, once again, we're the educators. You see what I'm saying? We're the influential. We're the educators. We're the ones. See, now watch this here. I'm living for the day when we all get to that table and we sitting there and we building, because that's that think tank that I always talk about. You see what I mean? And through that think tank, we have the ability to shape such a powerful movement. I'm talking about, and it's not even so physical. You want to know the power of it is? It's ideology. See, the power of what we believe and what we think, we have the ability to put into play to the point to where, let us say now, you got the plate where you got the top was burned, right?
Yeah.
Now we got the next couple layers coming up. We have the ability to start influencing the new ideology into them about truly being brothers, about truly being unified. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? You hear me, OG?
Uh-huh.
I was just at a place, in Manhattan, right? And I was at a seafood spot, like, and I'm looking at these big ass ships. I'm saying to myself, these things is like, how tall is it?
Right.
How many thousands of rooms? And I'm saying to myself, man built this.
Right.
It's so, but when you look at it, we don't take the time to think that man built it. Like, this ain't just popped out of nowhere. Like, God just dropped it.
Right.
Like, it's people like us.
Right.
Without mind of thinking, who built and shaped and formed these big ships on water. Right. I say to myself, imagine if we put that same type of structure, that same type of momentum in our brain for a world.
Right.
For anything that we can do.
Right.
You look at these buildings that's being built.
Right.
30, 50 stories, 120 stories of work. Who builds it? People have died building these type of stuff.
Right.
In a mission of putting it together.
Right.
And finalizing it. Like, I be bugging sometimes, you know?
No, I understand you.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna show you something. You see, I don't know if you ever got this book. Well, you ever seen this book before?
What's that? The law? No, is that by Robert Greene?
Yeah.
I read the 48 Laws of Power, and I read
This the latest one.
Okay, no, I read the 48 Laws of Power, and I read it's another one I can't think of it. I read him so long ago. I read Robert Greene back in like the 90s. Early 2000s. I was reading Robert Greene.
Yeah, he used law, 48 laws.
Yeah.
The rules of engagement.
And I'm gonna tell you another one I read. Robert Greene and write Robert's Rules of Engagement. That's the one you just said. That's Robert Greene.
Robert Greene, yeah.
He wrote Robert's Rules of Engagement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I read that.
Yeah.
I read that.
He was talking rules of engagement. The seductive stuff. And
right.
He did that. He did the 48 laws dealing with the psych. But these books, we can read all through this fast and we still don't have an understanding.
Right.
You start studying this, that's another step.
Right.
You study it, but you don't apply it. So it still ain't no good.
Yes.
You read it, ain't no good. You study it, it still ain't no good. When
right.
you apply it,
see, hey,
that's when you fucking go bananas.
I can tell something about it.
That?
Let me tell you something right now. Hey, man, I swear, dude, Hey, me and you on the same wavelength. Because, hey, they say knowledge is power, right? I always say that's bullshit. The application of knowledge is power. You know that people always say, and I said, well, you can take an old wino that has the ability and the knowledge to build a motherfucking rocket, right? And he know how to do this here from scratch all the way from start to finish, right? But this same old wino, right? Watch this. He's sitting in front of a fucking liquor store on a crate, but he got all this knowledge, right? So that knowledge is worthless. But if he's applying it, the application from the blueprints to the materials to understanding the fuel, everything, he'll be on the moon in a little while because of the application. I swear everybody ain't even up on that. I swear, man. Hey. I think I got that out of philosophy class too. For real.
Hey, yo, let me tell you something. You hear me? I'm gonna tell you something. When I used to be in a box, right? I started reading books, like, on history, like Clausewitz, Stallion,
Yeah.
And I used to see these various pictures of them painted.
Right.
Of these characters, they mustache like this coming up.
Right.
I became, when I read these books, I read and I studied that they warfare. I studied the warfare that they engaged in with the book.
Right.
And then I started growing the mustache up like this. You heard?
Right.
When I was in the box, I started, I was that character.
Right.
So when I came out my cell, I was that character.
Right.
And and I'm telling you, I really applied it.
Right.
As far as strategy.
Right.
And being strategic.
Right.
And I guess that's why my personality is so vivid when it comes to some people.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now.
I'm a bug out.
Let me tell you something. Hey, no, Kev, let me tell you something that I see in you right now. And this is an interesting factor right here. I always learn that people have got to be adaptable at the moment to who they need to be at that moment. For survival, we have got to be adaptable. The art of war says we must always remain fluid like water. People don't understand that, but water has no shape. So we have to always be adaptable to whatever be at that moment. You might have to come out of that motherfucker thinking like Stalin. You might have, you know what I'm saying? You might have to come out this motherfucker thinking like Napoleon or Hannibal or somebody. You see what I'm saying? In your mind, you got to adapt right at that moment. What will it take me to survive this?
You ever seen someone who adapted at that instinct without seeming obvious?
Right. Right.
It's not in them. It's within them.
I know. I understand that. Because you got to, once again.
That's how I was.
You have to be. Right.
I never in my life, and people can vouch for this. I've been to prisons where my energy was overwhelmed by other people, by my influence, which means that if I zoned it or just, if I came out to the yard and these dudes was around me, that they knew exactly what my intention was,
right?
And they was gonna go. They try to go before I get to it. Like it was crazy,
right?
And I was like, oh, they taking off. They eating what I'm eating. Oh, what the? And I'm like, yo, come here. I had that influence on me.
Right.
Whereas that normally, when you don't got that power or that influence, that they wait to see what you gonna do first, before they do it. You heard?
Yeah.
And imagine putting that same energy on a positive level.
Right. That's exactly. Well, you put it like this here. Let's take.
I want to say one thing before you say something. If I put a suit on with a tie and I go in the hood with a briefcase with the glasses on, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's what's up." Then I'm gonna say this thing look like a bird.
Right.
Then I'm gonna say that to me. They're gonna be like, If she can do it, I can do it.
Right. See, that goes back to the power of the mind, like I was saying earlier.
Right.
See, everything what you saying, I understand it because I understand. See, the mind is infinite. It's like we talk about building that ship, the same ship you talking about. See, somebody had an idea, right? Because our ideas become conversations, our conversations become actions. You see what I'm saying? Somebody said, well, damn, maybe we can build a ship this big to get so many people on. Okay, let's try that. Now they say, somebody drawing blueprints, somebody getting materials. Now they done got a crew, they got contractors, everything together. Next thing you know, they crossing the water, right? Kev standing looking at the ship cross the water. At the same time, same way we talk about these books, the same way I just sat in that hole and in prisons and all of that. I remember sitting there and being at the point where my mind state was to a point of just adapting at the moment. Whatever's taking place right now, I don't even give a fuck about what I dreamed about last night or what happened yesterday at breakfast. You know what I mean? Whatever's going on right now. You know what I mean? And because go ahead.
Another quote I've got from Marcus Aurelius. He said, "Nights of the past, nor the future could ever pain you, but the present."
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Right. But see, like I was saying, the thing about it that's so powerful is that when you yourself are speaking, right? You speaking of how the mind adapts to so many things at the drop of a hat.
Absolutely.
I've been in places where I'd left and I'd be in the pen and it'd be cool, right? You know what I mean? And all of a sudden I might do some shit and end up in the hole somewhere, right? Now I'm in the hole. Now I get to the hole and somebody shoot me a kite and tell me what's going on. It's going down or whatever, right?
Right.
Mind state change immediately now because I can't be comfortable. When we was going to prison young, right? And let's say we leave a cool spot and we go to another spot and there ain't no bloods over there. You know what they tell us? Don't unpack your shit.
All right.
Don't unpack your shit. They say don't unpack your shit. Put all your shit on your bed. But go out and walk around a little bit. Because if you're gonna get some shit, you want to have your shit already boxed up. So when they come and roll you up, when the police come after you get into it and they take you to the hole, your shit's already packed.
Now let's feel that same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you've been in this position. I already know that you've been and then you had this thing. You adapted to a corporate world.
Right.
You have adapted to a corporate world.
Right.
I'm talking about with white people, and you talk to them, and you adapted to them, and you didn't seem so obvious to them.
Right. Right.
They accepted it.
Right.
Actually, they loved it.
Right. Where they see this is the key. The boot camp is the street.
Go ahead.
You know what I tell motherfuckers, if you ain't never had no experience in these streets, if you ain't never dealt with no gunners, if you ain't never had to fear for your life, if you ain't never had to hurt another motherfucker, if you ain't never had to sell no crack, then you don't know what the challenge is. Like me, considering that I've been through, I could go into corporate America and fuck around and be the CEO of a company in a week, simply because of my tactics. You see what I'm saying? I also know how to apply those tactics of war to business. I know how to apply all those tactics in a means and a way of legitimacy to the point to where I can make it work. And I also know how to demand what I want and not take no for an answer. I know how to go to a motherfucking talk money and talk business. I tell you ain't done no business until you used to slung some crack. Hey, I thought and this is something I tell people about salesmanship. I had these conversations, right? And I said, look, if you ain't never stood on the block with 25 or 30 motherfuckers and all of y'all got drugs and a motherfucker turn that corner and he looking for somebody and he see the man that he looking for, right? And you approach him first. You got to have salesmanship in order to make this motherfucker want to forget about who he's looking for and buy your shit right there. See, that's that shit you take into the corporate world. People don't have a realization. You know what I'm saying? And it's a cold space, man. But the world we in, man, is the way we live in, man. You know what I mean? And the way I am, though, I feel like right now we in a space where we should be building on this ideology and taking it to other spaces. Hey, Kev, I got to have you on the podcast with me, man. Me and you going to collaborate.
Anytime.
I'm going to have you on my podcast, man.
Anytime you're ready.
You know, I do podcast episodes every week, man, for my MaddRonaldRadio.net. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have you on there. Hey, but the Instagram is going off. My Instagram finna shut down in 23 seconds. So, all right, I'm gonna let you go, homie. We gonna talk, homie. All right, everybody.
Oh, man.
For sure, always. For sure.
I feel like I went to church.
Hey, man. Hey, we ain't done. We ain't done. We just ain't got enough time, man. That's all. Hey, for sure, homie. Hey, nothing but love, homie. You know that, man. All right, Kev. Have a good one. Be safe, man. All right, Facebook. That was the homeboy Killer Kev out of New York City, man. All right. I am finna sign out here, y'all. You know what I mean? I didn't even realize that we was gonna be chopping it up like that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, no, I'm gonna try to edit that video up and put that video up so that y'all can see that video over here on Facebook. Let me try to get it edited up. It'll probably be on Facebook in a few hours or so, maybe not even an hour, if I work fast enough, because of the fact that I'm gonna take down the original one. And I'm going to put up the one from Instagram. I just got to do some editing and stuff like that there. But anyway, y'all, Madd Ronald was out. Y'all have a good one. Don't forget, support my platforms, MaddRonaldRadioNetwork.com. MaddRonaldRadio.net. Also, don't forget the Madd Ronald Radio Network podcast on Facebook. Don't forget Madd Ronald Radio Vision on YouTube. Don't forget, I'm here. I'm all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing it the way I can. I'm going to start back doing a lot more podcasting and a lot more YouTubing and a lot more Facebook Live. So y'all be on the lookout. And I got some good stuff coming. You know, you hear Killer Kev. We got some good stuff coming up because I'm not finna let him go like that there. I just didn't have enough time. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all be safe. Y'all have a good one. Hey, in health, wealth, peace, and prosperity. Everybody, to all my well-wishers, to everybody who sent me them prayers, everybody sent me support, thank you all. I'm truly appreciative of you all. Hey, and on that note, I'm out of here, y'all.